bar exam is coming. Yes, the bar exam is coming. At this point, as of shooting this video, it's about 2 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away. And I'm going to give you some tips to make sure you're as ready as you possibly can be for it. I'm Professor Capko, and I make videos about law, accounting, math, business, and if you like that sort of thing, give this video a thumbs up. I'm going to tell you some tips to get ready for the bar, but before that, I'm going to say I believe something great is going to happen for you very soon. And now back to the video. The bar exam can be very, very stressful. I know. I've taken it. I passed the first time, but I know the stress that you are under. But it is manageable. At this point, about 2.5 weeks out, you want to make sure you're getting as ready as possible. If you haven't already, make sure you've lined up your accommodations where you're going to stay. Hopefully you've done that a long time ago, but if you haven't, make sure you do that and make a plan for traveling there. And I recommend traveling there at least a day ahead of time, if not 2. That way, if you have any transportation issues, anything like that, you will be in place, or you have time to get there and get some relaxation in beforehand. And of course, studying. At this stage in the game, I don't believe the most effective thing would be to be reading at outlines. I think you need to be practicing questions. Practicing questions is the most effective use of your time. If you have access to online multiple choice questions such as AdaptiveR or UWorld, something along those lines, I recommend you do those questions. And my usual recommendation is 25 a day. I would do 50 a day minimum. Try and get yourself where you're used to doing lots and lots of questions all at once in one sitting, and time yourself. Set the timer and do them under test conditions. You want to be running through them as quickly as possible, but not too quickly. Do it just like you would the test. Go back later and check your answers and why you got them wrong, and also importantly, why you got them right. Because getting something right for the wrong reason can be just as devastating because you become overconfident. Checking those answers and the reasons for them, including looking at the wrong answers and why they are wrong, you should be getting little nuggets of the law, and put those nuggets of the law into a document, either a Word document, Google Doc, something like that, and you're going to be building up a bunch of nuggets of things that you may or may not be good at remembering. I don't want you going into the bar with a 50-page outline. I want you to have maybe 10 pages of things that are tricky, things that you're having trouble with. Maybe remembering the difference in time periods for different types of appeals. Maybe there's a different time period between federal appeals and your state's appeals, something like that. Get those differences down. Anywhere that your state differs from the MBE or the multi-state or the federal system, get those written down maybe in that 10-page tricky items. Now, if you're great with numbers and you're great with dates, maybe that's not what is tricky for you, and you need to have some other differences in there. Maybe a difference in the elements for a particular tort, how it differs from your state and the federal system, or your difference, between your state and what the MBE would have. Now, in general, the MBE is going to have pure comparative negligence, and maybe your state has modified comparative negligence or something along those lines. So that's a difference that you want to mark down so that you don't forget that, depending on which part of the test you're taking, if you're taking the part for your state or the part for the MBE, you will be applying the correct law. Also, practice writing essays. If you have not been writing a bunch of essays, a couple essays a week, you need to get on that. Do not think, oh, I'm a great writer, I did a good job writing essays in law school, I can handle this. No, it's totally different for the bar exam. You need to write very quickly, and every word needs to be scoring you points. You need to get your sentences boiled down to be as concise as possible. IRAC. If you don't know what that is at this point, I'm sure you do, but I'll just say it for those that may not be familiar. That's issue, rule, analysis, conclusion. You're going to do that for each area of the law. Don't worry about writing with flowery language or looking for a different way to say something every time. You want to be a machine. You want to have muscle memory. When you see, oh, that's a contracts question, I know that I'm going to have to talk about UCC versus common law. I need to talk about statute of frauds. I need to talk about offer acceptance consideration. You know, all the different elements you want to have almost automatic. And the only thing that changes is the facts. And I recommend, if you've been writing these essays and writing the full essay and writing it in time, in other words, if you have an hour to write the essay, make sure you give yourself only an hour to write your practice essay. I tell my students, write that essay in 50 minutes. Give yourself a 10-minute buffer. That way, when you're doing this for real, you know that you can write the essay in 50 minutes. You know you've got that little bit extra time, because there's going to be some time dilation just from how anxious you are during the test. And that extra 10 minutes is going to be that buffer that you're going to need. But you also need to become disciplined about the amount of time you're spending writing an essay. Also, because at least for most states, or a lot of states, they're not going to tell you that, okay, you have, for example, 3 essays, you got 3 hours, we'll ring a bell at the end of the first hour and at the second hour. No, you get 3 hours and you get 3 essays, and you have to be disciplined to make sure you don't spend too much time on that first essay and leave yourself with not enough time to write the second 2, because that's a recipe for disaster. So make sure you're disciplined in the amount of time it takes you to write an essay. Also, if you're writing the essays in a nice quiet area and everyone's left your home or your room that you're in, and you're writing in nice, perfect conditions, I recommend that you practice some essays in a stressful condition. Because if you're at the bar exam, you're going to be with hundreds of other people, all in a big room. There's going to be somebody coughing, there's going to be a chair squeaking, there's going to be people getting up, going to the bathroom, proctors walking around. There's going to be distractions, and if you've written in a zero distraction environment, you are not ready to write the bar exam. You need to go somewhere where there's a lot of distractions and still be able to write. Practice a couple essays at Starbucks. Go to Starbucks, write a few essays, see how it goes. Have your headphones in, you're going to do that, but with people moving around, can you still focus to write a few that way? You don't have to do all of them that way, but write a few that way so you're ready for game day. Most of all, practice questions. Practice writing essays, practice multiple choice questions so you're 100% ready when it comes around. I'll do some more videos on this. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, I ask that you subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Best of luck.